Yep.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, and coming to you from the Lonely Tree Media Studios in Yakima, Washington, this is the Best Lamb Sports Show. I'm your host, David Lamb, and with me is my son, Parker. Say hello, Parker.
Hello, Parker.
And then why is it not working?
Well, there you go.
I didn't, you know what I mean?
So
I feel like,
here's what I'm thinking with that. I'm thinking it's two buttons. I'm thinking
yeah,
that one thing has to end before the next thing will begin.
it might be.
And so that's why there's like a little delay right there, and then it'll start. So
It could be right. You
you
may
gotta extend out that intro a little bit for people.
You know what? We're gonna have to take a little bit more time. You're right. I agree. You know what? Because the show can be longer. Because people love this stuff.
Yes.
We're streaming on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Lamb Sports. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show, and you can email us lambsports@gmail.com. And please check out our webpage. You can find links to the past shows and the current trivia question on www.lambsports.com. So we got what? Rams and Bengals.
Rams Bengals.
Rams Bengals. We're going to talk about that game. It's this, the big game, the Super Bowl game, the one that everyone goes out and buys a big old flat screen TV and then returns it the next day. We're going to talk about that one. Have you ever done that?
No.
Okay. Okay. It's a common thing, right?
I'll tell people the industry secret when we get there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the Winter Olympics because that's happening. That's the best thing I can say. Portland Trailblazers making deals ahead of the NBA trade deadline. We're going to answer this question: All-Star games are worth having, true or false? And I think that's a valid question in wake of this last weekend. First segment of the show, as always, is brought to you by The Range. The Range is Central Washington's premier indoor shooting destination at 34,000 square feet. The Range is an all-inclusive facility offering firearm training, retail sales and supplies, full gunsmithing and repairs, custom builds, and Cerakote services, all under one roof at The Range, open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 7, Sunday, 11 to 5. Go see our friends at The Range, 1701 Garrettson Lane in Yakima. Phone number is 509-571-1449. Make sure you mention the Best Time Sports Show, The Range. Educate, equip, and empower. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, right off the bat, I want to ask you the trivia question because it's Super Bowl related.
Okay.
So let's just do that. And that way we have the whole show to think about it because, there's times where I just forget about it.
Okay. Ready for it.
All right, you ready? So here's the Best Lamb Sports Show trivia question brought to you by Save and Stone Wine Estates in Hood River. I said it right this time. This is like the first time. First time ever. Here it is. Which stadium has been host to the most Super Bowls? Two parts. Which stadium has been host to the most Super Bowls? Secondly, which city has hosted the most Super Bowls? And they're not the same answer. There you go. So think about that for the next hour, and we'll answer at the end for sure.
I think I understand the.
You got it?
Caveat here.
I
think I'm picking up on it.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So two parts to that. So let's talk about Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't really want to talk about Joe Burrow. I feel like the AFC was this thing at the beginning of the season that I said, wow, the AFC, they got a lot of great teams, but they ended up being a lot of good teams and not great.
Sure.
And for that matter, I think the NFC turned out to be that way too.
Yeah.
There was no team this year that you look to and go, wow, that's the best team in the league.
Right.
And I feel like that's the first time we've had that in a while. Last year you maybe could have said that, but I still thought Tampa Bay was the best team almost all year. But maybe Kansas City, I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes does what he does. But it just feels weird. Anyway, so Cincinnati Bengals, Rams, SoFi Stadium. That's Sunday, February 13th at 3:30 p.m. on NBC. That's 3:30 Pacific time. Cincinnati is 0-2 in Super Bowls. We talked about that last week. They lost both games to the San Francisco 49ers. So this is the first time they've had a chance at someone else. The Rams are 1-2 in Super Bowls. In Super Bowls in the LA area, in LA itself, at the Coliseum or at this one, which is in Inglewood, the NFC is 4-3. There have been 7 Super Bowls so far. This is the 20th time that both starting quarterbacks will be first timers.
Okay.
I thought that was a big. I thought that was higher than it would have been. I just for some reason I don't know why, but yeah. So both quarterbacks are going to be first time in their Super Bowl, and first time quarterbacks in the Super Bowl are 29 and 35 overall. So losing record. The NFC starting quarterback, first time quarterbacks from the NFC are 18 and 17. From the AFC, they're 11 and 16. So that favors the Rams, I guess, if that's what we're saying. I don't know for sure, but
that's what I want it
to. Well, I mean, so that's the question. Do you think that? And by the way, first-time quarterbacks for Cincinnati in the Super Bowl are 0-2 because they've lost both of them. And for the Rams, first-time quarterbacks in the Super Bowl are 0-2. So that doesn't favor either team.
So it's a wash.
It's a wash. It's a stat that means meaningless.
One team's going to walk out of there with keeping that 100% record intact.
It's correct. That's right. So here's my question to you. So this is simple and easy. Who wins this game, and why are they going to win this game? What's the one thing that's going to make that team win?
The Rams are going to win this game because of their defensive line.
Okay.
Because Joe Burrow is good, but the Rams defensive line might be the best collection. It might be the best defensive line in history.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. They're going to terrorize them all day. And the Bengals, every game the Bengals have been having to work their ass off to win them.
Yeah.
And that's against teams with decent defensive lines, but not great ones. Tampa Bay's defensive line it's decent, but their linebacking core is actually really good.
Right.
But their defensive line is decent, and what's it called? I'm trying to think about other crazy teams that they played this year, but nothing like what they're about to play. What they're about to play is the best defensive line, not only in this season, but probably in at least going back to Von Miller and the Broncos defensive line. And he's on this team too.
Right.
But even then, I think this one's better than that one. You probably got to go back into the Steelers back in the day to find one that's this good, or the Bears.
Right. If I was picking right now, I'm going to tell you the Rams, and give me a score first of all. If you're picking the Rams, what's the score of this game?
27-17.
Wow, that's exactly what I said earlier today.
Yeah.
27-17 Rams.
10-point win. That's convincing.
Right.
It says that we won, and I don't think it's going to be one of those ones where it's 17-17 heading into the final 10 minutes.
No,
or something like that. I think it's going to be 17-3 early or something like that, and then it's just going to kind of stay, and then at the end they'll score, and then they'll score, and they'll kind of trade a little bit, but it'll be too late.
I would tell you that it might be 21 or 24-3 Rams at the half. Oof. And then Cincinnati will find a way to score, make some adjustments, but it won't be enough.
Yeah.
And the Rams at least the Rams have the ability to run the football enough to wear out a clock. I don't know if that's going to happen, but this is all just speculation because, we also said Cincinnati was going to lose the last 2 games, I think. So
I'm sure we could be wrong about this too.
We could be wrong about this too.
We've been wrong about a lot lately.
But you're right. The Rams defense and the Cincinnati offensive line gave up 9 sacks to the Kansas City defense, and they are nowhere near the Los Angeles Rams defensive line and Von Miller.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's saying something. I don't think that the Rams are going to get 9 sacks, but I think the only way Cincinnati wins this game is if their defense pitches a shutout.
That's fair. And the Rams have a tendency to drop the ball.
Yes.
And play down a little bit.
Yes.
But so I'm this week going into it, the Bengals are going to be in full pass protect mode.
Right.
That's going to be the name of the game because that team isn't just good at pass rushing; they're good at run stopping too.
That's true.
Their guys are fantastic on both of those fronts. So they're going to sacrifice their running back almost. The Bengals are going to sacrifice their running back almost all game in favor of pass protection. Maybe even a tight end too, which is going to leave Joe Burrow with very few options. And once that happens, you have fantastic cornerbacks on that team.
Yeah. I think
that's not going to help you out a lot.
Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase is going to be one of those things to watch.
Oh yeah, that'll be the storyline of the game. I can't wait to watch both of them celebrate way too early.
every play,
every freaking play. So that's the thing about like cornerbacks and receivers. A ball will be overthrown by 15 yards, and the cornerback will start throwing his hands up like he had anything to do with it. By that same token, what's it called? The wide receiver will catch a 10-yard curl and there's nobody on him and act like he
Right.
smoked somebody.
Right.
They're just the
And
most arrogant positions
they get
ever.
it. They run out of bounds and then signal for a first down. And I'm
Right.
like, whatever.
Pansy.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
right?
gonna hustle out of bounds real
Stop
quick.
it.
But
So,
yeah, they're the most arrogant positions ever.
so just some more information. Cincinnati entered the season 125-1 to win the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, if you put money on them early, you'd been doing all right.
It is the longest preseason long shot to reach the big game since '99 when St. Louis was a 150-1 long shot. Yeah, so they're the second largest long shot to reach the Super Bowl. Let's call it that. And then they haven't won yet. So the other long shots that reached the Super Bowl, 2016 Atlanta was 80-1. They lost. 94 San Diego, 75-1. They lost. 2015 Carolina, 60-1. They lost. So all those other teams lost. So don't know what Cincinnati's going to do. We're going to find out. It's a big underdog, by the way. 125-1. It's the fourth largest underdog, or the fourth longest long shot to reach a championship round in pro football, MLB, NBA, or NHL since 1990.
It's like it was meant to be.
The Golden Knights in 2017, 2018 were 500-1 shots.
Whew.
Yeah, so that's the largest, the largest. But it doesn't really matter at this point. I think it's a game where it's just one game now. It's no longer a long shot. You're already there, so you got nothing to lose. The last 10 Super Bowl champions, kind of hit and miss. 6 of them were underdogs, and 4 of them were favorites. So the spread has been the largest spread since 2011 was 5.5 points. Denver was a 5.5 point underdog,
right,
in 2015. So, I don't know. The past 3 Super Bowls, if you're betting, have all been under the total. In the past 10 seasons, the Super Bowl MVP favorite has won 3 times. And now, how do you know who the favorite is to be the MVP? I guess they picked that ahead of time. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's always a favorite.
All right, call it whatever.
Yeah, there's a favorite every year.
Yeah, whatever. There's been 105 outright wins by underdogs this season. 1 win shy of the most in a single season in the Super Bowl era. In 2006, underdogs went 106 and 161. So, underdogs are 8-4 this postseason. If you're picking, right?
Bottom line is, I just need to go to the poll, and everyone needs to look over my shoulder, and whatever I choose, do the opposite.
It's true. It's true.
Whatever it is, if I'm like, oh yeah, that seems like a good bet, just do the opposite.
And I will go that one further, and I'll tell you that if you're at the grocery store and you see me getting in line, get in another line. Get in
another line. Bail on that line.
Yeah, do not pick the one I'm going in. Los Angeles, the Rams failed to cover the conference championship game. Teams that fail to cover in that round are 3-8-1 against the spread in the Super Bowl and 3-9 outright.
Exciting.
So that favors Cincinnati, but I don't know. Anyway, so
it's a lot of information.
So I'm throwing it out there. Cincinnati's past 4 games have gone under the total, and so the Super Bowls have gone under the total, and Cincinnati's past 4 games have gone under the total, and the Rams' defense is really good. So who knows? I don't know. Anyway, that's all I know. That's really all I know about the Super Bowl. I don't know.
More than most people know.
Well, it's not enough for me to go out and put money on it, and I won't because
it's not convincing enough. And if it was convincing enough, it wouldn't make anything.
Yeah, you'd bet $50 and you'd win 51.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not worth it.
Unfortunately, but that's the thing about the long shots that you got to put in.
Yeah,
you got to put in the money on the Bengals early.
Next year, I'm
putting $25 on the Dolphins to make it to the Super Bowl.
Simmer down. So let's talk about something more fun.
Okay.
Let's talk about Super Bowl moments, because this is something that I pulled up and I really love this topic. Let's just ask you right off the top. What's your most memorable Super Bowl moment? If you had one moment in the Super Bowl that you've watched, or that you in your history, which you haven't been around for all of them.
Yeah.
But what's the one that sticks out in your mind as that was a wow?
Well, it's obvious, but it's what's it called? It's Von Miller strip sacking Cam Newton
Right.
in Super
In
Bowl
the
50.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like the game I feel like was already it had been teetering Denver's way the whole time. And this was after I think that other sack where he got stripped but he bailed on it, like he didn't dive into the middle
Right.
after it. Like the one where that game cost Cam Newton his career. Um But yeah, that one where Von Miller grabs him, absolutely rips it right out of his hands while he's trying to protect it, flings it into the end zone, then we pick it up and score. Yeah, that was a pretty big one. That's one of the ones that get you out your seat.
Let me throw some moments at you because I got one on the screen right now.
How
And
about
that
this? How about you throw me a moment and then I'll throw you a moment?
Okay, we can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So
We'll
here's
see if they line up.
so here's Kevin Dyson
Oh
for
yeah.
Tennessee, 1 yard short, tackled 1 yard short of the
Yeah.
end zone on the last play of Super Bowl 34, and the Rams win. The greatest show on turf needed that tackle 1 yard short to win the Super Bowl. Um, that was an amazing moment that replay was involved. I think that was like the first time in a Super Bowl. I don't know. It was crazy. But that was a good moment. That was memorable for me. It's one of my top, I don't know, 5 or 6, just because it was heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So close to the. He's not even a yard short. He's a half a yard short. So
Yeah. Everyone says a yard, but I'm looking at it and
yeah,
that's 6 inches short.
yeah, he was ridiculously close.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
That's a good
What
one.
do you got?
All right, so my next one is the Philly Special.
Philly special.
The Philly Special. That's right. The throwback to the greatest Super Bowl champion ever, Nick Foles, and just the smooth as butter hands that he has. Please tell me you have it. Yep, you got it on your
There you
list.
go.
Yep, the Philly
There's
Special.
Philly
That was a
special.
hell of a play because the Eagles were working that game, but it was still they didn't feel like they'd quite cracked it open. Tom Brady had tried to catch a pass earlier in that game,
Yep.
and
But
just
he doesn't have it.
he got brick hands.
He
But
does. He does.
there's Nick Foles, Nicky Toe Taps going into the end zone.
That was Super Bowl 52. One of the few guys who kept Tom Brady from winning a Super Bowl. That's Nick
That's
Foles.
right. Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was Carson Wentz's team, and then it wasn't.
And then it
right,
wasn't.
and then it wasn't, and it was Nick
And he
Foles.
could stay healthy, and then Nick
Yeah.
Foles like, all right,
All right, I
Super
got this.
Bowl."
Yeah, just move out the way. I got this. Yeah, so that was a good one. Yeah, it's on the list. Let's talk about. Let me find you another one that I like, just because I have a whole bunch of them here. But let's talk about this one.
Helmet catch.
Helmet catch, right? That eliminated
right.
that ended.
What is his name?
David Tyree.
David Tyree. That's
David
right.
Tyree with a helmet catch that kept it alive. That was a 4th down play. Eli Manning just kind of hucks it up, and David Tyree comes down with it. And
Yeah.
this is bad defending by the Patriots, but it effectively kept the drive alive that they would end up scoring, and it ended the Patriots' chance at a perfect season.
That was Peyton or Eli Manning, right?
That was Eli Manning, yeah.
That's so crazy. Like the amount of like that arm strength to hold it against your arm.
And he held on to it the whole way. It was a crazy great catch. Anyway, there you go. There's one. What do you got?
Okay, so my next one is going to be, and now we're going with the Patriots as opposed to against them.
Yeah.
Patriots picking off the ball at the 1 yard line against the Seahawks.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is. Right? Just run the ball. Just run the ball with Marshawn Lynch.
Hell of a play.
What is wrong with you? I don't know. You're right. It was so unnecessary was the thing. When I saw it happen, I was like, why did Marshawn Lynch has run the ball all the way down the field? Why are you not going with him at the goal line?
Right.
And they threw it, and then this happened, and they lost their chance at back-to-back Super Bowls. It was literally,
Right.
I think if they run it, they were not going to keep Marshawn Lynch out of the end zone. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do I know? You're right. That was a great moment. If you're a Patriots fan, if you're a Seahawks fan, you're like, what the hell? Because everyone asked that after the game. I don't know how many times Pete Carroll got asked that. Why don't you just run the football?
Right.
And rightfully so. I think that's a great question. Why didn't you not just run the football? I don't know. That was a tough one. All right, let me see what I got else. So,
Actually, I got one more after you.
So
here's I'm out.
So here's Santonio Holmes for the Pittsburgh Steelers, toe tapping in the end zone against the Cardinals. This is Super Bowl 43, and this was in the waning moments. Pittsburgh takes the lead.
What's great about this picture is that there's nothing in this picture to indicate the time, like the decade and things like that, because both these teams' jerseys still look exactly the same.
Right.
Other than the Reebok logo, I think on the arm.
The Cardinals are a little bit different than they used to be back when they were the St. Louis Cardinals, but
Yeah.
but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's an awesome catch.
And that was Kurt Warner, by the way, of the Cardinals in that Super Bowl.
Ooh.
So he could have had a chance to win 2. And
Are you going to see the new Kurt Warner movie
I think I will.
with Zachary Levi? Underdog.
I'm on board. I mean, do you
hate
watch
the title?
I know, but you watched the one with Mark Wahlberg. What was the
Invincible?
Invincible, right?
Of course.
And it's awe-inspiring, right?
Vince Papali doing his thing.
I don't know. He just any chance for Mark Wahlberg to take off his shirt, whatever. So right?
I always correlate that to the It's Always Sunny episode where they go out and try and make the Philadelphia Eagles. The episode's called "The Gang Gets Invincible," and it's hilarious.
It was good. That was a good episode.
It was one of their best.
What else you got?
My next moment is John Elway.
Nope.
No.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it?
I'm already gonna tell you I don't have that one.
Super Bowl 32. John Elway.
Yeah.
Helicopter dive.
Helicopter dive. Yeah.
Helicopter dive.
Someone listed it on their list as one of the top 10 Super Bowl moments, and it's
been on a bunch of them. Yeah.
It's in there.
The problem was that it was it wasn't the end of the game yet.
Right.
But it was a momentum swing.
It was.
That then let the Broncos just continue to pummel the Packers for the rest of the game.
I don't have it.
But yes, he did that dive, and I don't remember a ton of it. Where were we living at the time? When was that?
That's a great question. We're gonna have to look this up. And
Super Bowl 32 was January 25th, 1998.
We were in Germany at the time.
We were in Germany, and I think we had recorded it.
Oh, probably, or
then watched it again.
It might have been. It was on at like 3:00 in the morning because that's what happens.
I think we recorded it and then watched it again.
Could be.
And then I'm almost positive that's what happened.
Yeah, could
that's
be.
around the time I started liking the Broncos. Hey, they were winners.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
and I've stuck with them.
Bandwagon.
I jumped on a bandwagon. Guess what? I stuck through that.
Now you're driving.
Bandwagon. Greasy and all those other guys. Yes, I've earned my stripes.
Brian Greasy, by the way, is a much better Monday Night Football announcer than he ever was a quarterback. So I like him on there. I think he's good.
I think all the time about Drew Lock and the quarterbacks we've had and Teddy Bridgewater and things like that, and I'm like, man, at least they're not Brian Greasy.
Well,
Brian Greasy was terrible.
I feel bad for Brian Greasy because he's got that dad to live up to, and it never was going to happen.
Freaking Bob.
All right, so.
But yeah,
here's what else I got. Julian Edelman.
Oh yes, what a catch!
Right,
oh, my
goodness. Helping in that comeback from 28-3 down.
Right.
I hated watching that football game. I absolutely hated it.
I wrote the 28-3 comeback on my sheet.
Yeah.
But this is part of that, and
that catch was amazing. That he kept it off the ground was amazing. And this picture I love the most because of that cleat right there in the middle of the 3 helmets. There's one cleat.
There is somebody's cleat right there.
Guy. I don't even know who that is. But his cleat is right there. He's going the wrong way.
Well, he was coming in to blow him up.
Clearly. It was. So there was that one.
We watched this 23 comeback. I watched this with some friends, and none of us were rooting for the Patriots.
No.
But there was this moment. When this moment happened, we all just went, shit.
Yeah, no shit. It's destined now. It's destiny. I thought it was an amazing catch.
That was on like that final drive to tie up the game, right?
And Edelman was the MVP of the Super Bowl, which he should have been.
That
just for that catch, if he had done nothing else the whole game, that catch was worthy.
That might be the best catch in Super Bowl history.
It might be. David Tyree is right there.
Degree of difficulty. I mean,
correct.
That ball is an inch above the ground.
But we've already shown 2: David Tyree with the helmet and Santonio Holmes with the toe touch. So this is, catches are the thing. And we've actually shown 3 because Nick Foles was a catch, technically.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can train all day for toe tapping end zone sideline catches. You could even, the helmet catch, that's kind of a freak incident that just ends up your way.
Yeah.
You might prepare a little bit for bobbling a ball, but you'll never be able to simulate this moment. And this is just years
reaction.
Of practice and focus, and it all just kind of culminates in one. Yeah.
It's what, and like they say, it's what's happened when preparation meets opportunity, right? This is it. And he was ready, and he, I got to keep this off the ground. I got to catch it. It was.
What do you think he was saying that whole time? Shit,
son of a bitch. Yeah, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I got this. Uh, so let's talk about this, which was Super Bowl III, the first time that any team from the AFC had beaten a team from the NFC, and this was the New York Jets Baltimore Colts Super Bowl III, and that was Joe Namath with the guarantee before the
Broadway
game.
Joe.
Before the game, saying, "Hey, we're going to win this. We're going to win this game." Was a gigantically bold statement. It was amazing. And then hey, they went out and just
the
did
Colts
it.
were 19.5-point favorites.
Right? He went out and just did it. I mean, he
just handled that.
We got this. Yeah, that was a good memory. I didn't see the Super Bowl because I was really young. But I saw the highlights and I remember, Joe Namath for sure. And anyway, that was a good thing. Let's talk about William Refrigerator Perry.
The fridge.
And I'm not even sure what the final score was. I want to say it was something like 50-12. But the Chicago Bears destroyed the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20. And the fridge comes in and runs the ball in from like 1 yard out because that's what he had been doing all year long.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean 320, I think, 320-pound defensive lineman running a ball in from the end zone. That was definitely a moment in the Super Bowl. And then
this is that Bears team that I was saying might have those defensive lines that
they were the best
rival
defense probably in football, maybe ever. This in the Blackout Bowl. You remember that one? So San Francisco, Baltimore in the Superdome in New Orleans, and the lights go off just after halftime. The lights literally just shut off, and this was all that was left. This picture here was all that was left was these lights on, and the company that made the light system said that a component that was designed to prevent this from happening made this happen.
Well, no, this was the NFL.
Yeah. This is the Super Bowl.
But this was rigged, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, it might have.
That's the conspiracy theory, is that Beyonce's performance was so good.
Beyonce was what did
that
it.
They were like, we can't keep playing football after that, so we gotta shut it down for a little bit, let people cool off,
Oh, yeah.
But also, there's a lot of people who are like, what the hell happened? Like you said, that it shouldn't have happened.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about that game, but
mostly on this show.
Yeah, well, mostly we do that all the time. Everything is a conspiracy.
But yeah, there's a wide range of conspiracy theories that because the 49ers were winning.
Yes,
and they ended up losing to the Ravens.
Somehow
like,
it took the Mo out of them or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy it, but all right.
Just anyway, I sees it.
I think that's the last one I have of those. Let me just.
I can't think of any like significant moments. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Winfrey, the cornerback for Tampa Bay, giving the deuces to the Chiefs squad.
Yeah, that was last year. That was
it was a little classless, but it was a moment that sticks out. Like, oh, that was pretty sassy.
Sassy is a good word.
It's exactly what it is. It means that you're doing it with attitude and not in a nice way.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nice attitude and there's bad attitude.
And they also had the now I'm trying to remember who it was. The Steelers were playing the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. And I'm trying to remember when that was, but it was 1996 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I can't remember the guy. He had 2 interceptions in the game, ran one back for a touchdown, and the Steelers won. That was a good moment back in the day. But anyway, I don't have the numbers or the names in front of me because it's not coming up, no matter how much I type it in. So
yeah.
But anyway, that's what I remember. I remember watching that game specifically. But yeah, most of mine are. I could have showed Garo Yepremian of the Dolphins, the kicker, after the failed extra point attempt trying to throw a pass and it slips out of his hand. We could have talked about that, but I don't know. We'll save. I got a craziest moments in sports for us later. So
okay, cool.
Right. So we've kind of reached, I guess, the halfway point.
Yep.
If you have any other Super Bowl questions, and we've already answered them. I think the Rams are going to win. So I don't know for sure, but because I bet against Cincinnati all postseason and it hasn't worked out. So if I had been betting money all along, I would be minus right now. You too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were in bad shape.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
what do you
forgot
got?
about this moment.
What?
Leon Lett.
In the Super Bowl?
Leon Lett in Super Bowl. What is this? 27. Recovered a Buffalo fumble and headed for the end zone.
Oh
65 yards,
yeah,
and then it
that's
got
right.
bopped out of his hands while he was celebrating.
But they still won. So
They
it
still
didn't
won,
mean
I know,
anything.
but it's a moment. Like, so I just Googled just now. I was
What
like,
was
oh, let me Google some moments here,
what
and then
was
that's what popped up.
what was the name of that wide receiver that ran him down and knocked it
Oh,
out?
oh,
Hang
it
on.
says it. Hold on. If you
I
can,
know, right?
I got the name right here.
No, you don't.
He has a son who plays in the NFL right now.
Why can't I think of his name? He absolutely ran it down and knocked it out of his hand. And it was
His son
it was a gigantic
played-
play.
His son played college football at. Hold on, I'm trying to find it out for you.
Trevor Beebe.
Don
Right?
Beebe.
Don Beebe.
Don Beebe's the guy. His son Chad played for Northern
Chad.
Illinois,
Okay, there you go. Don Beebe.
and Chad currently plays for the
That's it.
Vikings.
Yep, there you go.
Yep, Don Beebe saved it all.
Not really. I mean, it was 52-17. That was his final score. That game was 52-17. That was a gigantic, and that was one of the Four Falls of Buffalo. If you ever get a chance to watch that on ESPN,
Yeah.
that's a great show. 4 straight Super Bowls. They were 4-time AFC champions, and they never really, other than the wide right miss, they were never really close to winning the Super Bowl. Gosh, that was just them being the best AFC team, but the Cowboys were clearly better at least twice. 2 times they played, and then I don't know, the Buffalo Bills. What are you gonna do? But that was
I got one more.
and that was the Frank Reich in the AFC Championship game. I don't know if that was the same year, but that was the Buffalo Bills when Frank Reich came in to replace Jim Kelly,
Yeah.
and they came back from 34-3 or
Sounds
something
right.
like that against the Houston Oilers, and won the AFC Championship game. That was like the biggest comeback in playoff history. Anyway, what do you got?
Final one. I promise I'm done.
No, it's good.
It might be the biggest Super Bowl moment ever, and that is Janet Jackson's boob.
I don't know. I didn't put it on here on purpose. But yes,
Why
it
not?
might because it's funny
It might
because
have been the most talked about moment ever.
yeah, and I'll agree with you, but I don't consider it a Super Bowl moment because it didn't happen during playtime.
Yeah, but you consider the lights going out.
Yeah, that happened during the play.
I know, but still,
I feel
it
you're
stopped
right.
the play.
I-
But yeah,
I okay. And I'll give you
I
that.
get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
they
I
are
get what
big. They are big moments. The
halftime
halftime
show.
thing was a big deal, but it was and it's funny because I looked at all of these lists of top moments in Super Bowl history, and some of them had halftime shows on them, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. We'll save that for maybe next week. After next week, where we
we'll talk about
favorite halftime shows.
yeah, we'll
'Cause
review.
I'm really excited to see Eminem, Dr. Dre,
Are you?
Snoop Dogg. Yeah,
It's going to be
You-
interesting.
it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping Martha Stewart makes an appearance because her
Right?
and Snoop Dogg have been doing all sorts of stuff together.
Correct.
So
And
we'll see.
I know she can't sing, but she could do something.
I don't know that she can't sing.
I know. I've heard her.
Have you?
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
then okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Then maybe she shouldn't.
she probably shouldn't, but it's funny because when you go look up each individual Super Bowl, if you look up the history or if you look on I don't know, Wikipedia or wherever you can find a definitive list of what happened.
Yeah.
Wikipedia does a great job of breaking down the whole thing, the whole experience. The teams, what had happened, the playoffs leading up to it,
Right.
broadcasting, who was in the broadcast booth, what happened, the quarter by quarter breakdown. There's all kinds of stuff, and it's really pretty good. But
Fair
anyway,
enough.
they list the halftime shows and who was in it and why, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. But so, just saying, not that it's any bit accurate because it's Wikipedia, but
Right.
it is accurate because I'm looking at it right now and I'm going, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Anyway, that's Super Bowl moments. I thought it'd be fun to go over some things that happened, and we're gonna leave the Philly special up because that was one of my favorite Super Bowl moments, and just in general because I liked watching New England lose.
I just like that Philly team. They had a lot of spunk.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was a better team than you
That was Chip Kelly's team that Doug Peterson ran to the
Inherited.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the next
He
year.
went full.
Yeah.
What is his name? John Gruden. He went full John Gruden and took a team to the Super Bowl, then proceeded to take them
Right.
straight downhill afterward.
Right. Right. They were never the same afterward.
They were never the same. This is the last remaining pieces. Like they still had the juice bar and things like that from Chip's tenure. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Second half of the show brought to you by Boss Kitty Hand Dyed Yarns. Be sure to tune in to BossKittyLive.com for knit-alongs, exclusive sales. Did I say that right? It doesn't sound right.
You did say it right the first time.
Games and fun, and you can meet new fiber friends. Go on the BossKittyShop.com and go on the BossKittyShop.com. That doesn't make any sense.
Go on to.
Yeah, thank you. BossKittyShop.com and get your DK and fingering weight yarns as well as Stitch and Progress markers. Looking for a gift? Are you? Are you, Parker? Looking for a gift?
Not at the moment.
Do you know any knitters?
Just you guys. Mom, Barb, Vicky, those people.
Right. Well, you can if you're looking for a gift, you can get them a Boss Kitty Shop virtual gift card and let them pick it out themselves. Because you know what? I'm not good at picking out that crap. That's Boss Kitty Hand-Dyed Yarns. Yarn so boss, you'll knit your pants. So let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers for a minute because I'm not sure what just happened. I'm going to be honest. Well, let's start with this. The Trailblazers are 21 and 33. Is that right? Yeah, 21 and 33. 11th place in the Western Conference, which means they're a half game out of the playoffs if it started today, which it doesn't. But if it did, they're taking on Orlando tonight in the Moda Center in Portland. And Orlando is one of like 4 teams that have a worse record than the Blazers. That's not true. It's like 7 teams. But anyway,
Orlando is the example of why you shouldn't tank because it doesn't work.
And the worst part is Orlando's crushing Portland, 62-47.
But we're tanking. So.
And we're just now, and we are. It's probably
we're tanking.
We're probably just now starting the third quarter. So, so the Blazers, I don't know. The Blazers are, and now it's 18 points, by the way. I'm just 65-47 is what the score is. So the Blazers traded last week Norman Powell and Robert Covington, the Clippers, in exchange for Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a 2025 second-round pick. Right?
Right.
And the reason they did that, it moved Portland under the luxury tax threshold, and it cleared Powell's 5-year, $90 million contract. I don't know why they paid him that much money, but they did. And then so today, was it today? It was today.
It was this morning.
It was literally this morning. C.J. McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., and Tony Snell are sent to the Pelicans for, and I've got it up here somewhere. I don't have, you know what? I don't. Never mind. I had it up here.
You want me to tell you who it was for?
Hang on, I got this. I literally just pulled it up, but I'm like, what do they do? Come on. No, that's garbage. I don't know. There it is. 7-player deal. There it is. So, Josh Hart, Thomas Satoransky, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Didi Lozada are the players they got. Does anybody know any of those players? Do you know?
I know Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh
I know
Hart.
Satoransky.
Josh Hart's actually averaging almost 14 points a game.
Josh Hart's not bad. A couple weeks ago, I proposed to one of my friends that we trade with the Pelicans for Hart and somebody else, and he was like, "I don't want Hart. He's terrible." And I'm like, "Well, compared to CJ, yeah."
Well, New Orleans also sending a protected first-round pick and 2 second-round picks to Portland. So technically, Portland got 7 players,
right?
For 3.
We hang on to those picks, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not thrilled about it. It's clearly rebuilding. That's what you just said. Is we're rebuilding.
Yeah, they're committing to the tank.
Is Nurkic the next one to go? Is the question I have for you. Are they going to trade?
I don't know why they haven't been able to get rid of him.
Just
and
money?
So I'm thinking, well, maybe because I don't think he costs that much. He costs so he's on a 4-year, $48 million deal.
Yeah.
So he's not an outrageous price for a center, $12 million a year. So he's not an outrageous price for a center. He is for what he produces. He doesn't produce enough. But on top of that, he's also shown a lot of times where he takes plays off. I think people don't want him. Yeah. So I think we can't get rid of him because nobody wants his crap.
Is it an injury thing too? Because he's been oft injured.
He's been injured a few times. I'm sure
Yeah.
it has something to do with it. I'm sure it doesn't help his case, because
Right.
if you manage to get through the fact that he is up and down in terms of production, and then you manage to get through the fact that he costs a little more for that level of production, and then you get to the point, well, is he at least consistently healthy? No, not consistently.
No.
So I don't think people want him. I think that we're going to end up having to burn Nurk at some point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I so this whole thing is weird. So CJ
But he's a free
McCollum.
agent. He's a free agent next year. We don't have to hold on to him past this year.
It's true. CJ McCollum, by the way, is one of just 5 players to average 20 points per game in each of the past 7 seasons. And the other players are LeBron James, Anthony Davis, James Harden, and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah,
So
those are all stars.
yeah, those are all stars. And CJ McCollum's not for some reason. I don't know what that is, but clearly
It's because he doesn't do much else. Like,
I suppose.
LeBron also gets assists and rebounds, a lot of rebounds actually, and DeMar DeRozan does a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So CJ, is averaging like 5 assists, like 4 assists or something like that.
Yeah,
That's kind of his standard. So he needs to do a little more outside of that, and he doesn't play defense that well.
CJ's 30. He just signed a 3-year, $100 million extension in the summer of 2019. Well, it's not just, but 2 years ago. That took effect this season. He's set to be paid $33.3 million in 2022-2023 and $35.8 in 23-24.
I like that he did that. That he was like, I wear the number 3. I want 33.3.
and they're buying that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally they're taking New Orleans is buying that contract out. He's going to help New Orleans. I think he's going to be a great addition to New Orleans. I don't know that New Orleans is that team that's going to be any better than Portland.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever.
I think they're about to take a bit of a jump. He's now the highest paid player on that team. Brandon Ingram makes $29 million, so he's the second highest paid player. But you're looking across their starting squad, and let's be real, Zion Williamson hasn't played, but based on what you have in front of you, your starting squad is Devontae Graham, who's young, so you can take what you want with that. C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Jonas Valanciunas.
Does anybody really know how to pronounce that, by the way?
And then off the bench, you have Larry Nance and Jackson Hayes and Garrett Temple and a bunch of other young guys. But that squad all of a sudden is going, man, it's not terrible.
It's interesting, isn't it? It becomes an interesting team, and it's not.
And they now are in the 10th spot in the West.
Right. They just moved ahead of Portland.
They're ahead of Portland. Portland's officially out of the playoffs right now. Right. They're in the 10th spot. If this pans out, if this works for them, who knows how quickly this could take them uphill.
Yeah, I think this is I think both trades are wins for the other team. The Clippers come out way ahead in the end, and even though they're absorbing Powell's contract, and I think this is a big help to. I don't know when Zion Williamson. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100% certain Zion Williamson is ever going to be a great player. I think
he's already a bust.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, I was talking about this to somebody the other day. If you're going back, knowing what you know now is going to happen,
right?
Are you still taking him number 1?
No, not a chance.
Hell no. You might not even take him in the first round.
Right. Yeah, no.
Because you're only going to get 30 games out of him over the first 2 years.
Not worth it. Not worth it for sure.
Not even close to being worth it. Being fair, the fan hype was so big you didn't have much of a choice.
And they made the playoffs last year. The play-in, I guess. They didn't really make the playoffs, but they made the play-in last year.
Right.
And the fact that they've expanded the playoffs to 10 games now, or 10 teams now, is helping New Orleans get where they need to get. But if you're going to finish 10th, again, I tell you that's probably the worst place to end up because you don't get a ball in the lottery. And
no, so they're looking to go downhill.
They need to get worse, but they just got better. Yeah. And not enough to make them like a top 4 or 5, but enough to get them in like an 8-7 probably.
Yeah. And driving from here, they're going to have to lose a lot.
A lot.
If they want to fall into it, because they competed just well enough for the first little bit of the season.
Right.
to keep them kind of in contention for it. If they were going to tank, they needed to tank 20 games ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's when they need to start.
So Josh Hart is having his probably the best season of his 5-year career. He's averaging 13.4 points, 4.1 assists per game, 7.8 rebounds per game out of a guard.
See, that's what you're going to get from him that you're not getting from CJ. You're
Yeah,
going to gain
absolutely.
some rebounds,
Correct.
and you're going to gain some defensive presence.
Right. And so the Blazers are picking up his contract, which is it's like $13 million for the next year, but so that's a good trade. $33 million for 13
He's not
million.
a bad deal.
Yeah. Alexander Walker is the number 17 pick in the 2019 draft. Up and down with New Orleans. He's also been hurt. Satoransky, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that.
Tomas.
I don't know. I'm not sure that the rest of those players are worth anything. I tell you, Josh Hart is probably worth something. That was probably okay. He's not a replacement for CJ, but Simons is the guy. So it's going to be Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons, and then you're going to have Hart coming off the bench as the fifth guy or sixth guy. I'm sorry.
Right.
And that's probably right. The question is how I feel, and this is just me. They got to get rid of Nurkic. I feel like they have to. He's not taking them anywhere. He's not improving. He's not a Nikola Jokic.
Nope.
I know their names end in IC. I get it. It's not the same. Yep. He's not that guy. But the Blazers have always had a problem getting a center since Bill Walton.
Right.
I don't understand it. But
it's because they go against their grain when they do it. Like they felt like the trade for Nurkic was kind of forced, you know? They gave up at one point Ed Davis, who was playing fine.
Right.
And looked great. They gave him up. They didn't want to pay him. And they don't want to pay their centers anymore, and so they lose them. They lost Robin Lopez the same way.
Right. So just for fun, let me just tell you, I went to the Blazer game on Saturday night. And watched the Bucks and Blazers play. And this was right after the Covington and Powell trade. And the Blazers looked awful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I watched the first half, and up till about 6 or 7 minutes left in the first half, their Blazers were competitive. It was in there. And then next thing you know, you look up, it's halftime. They're 18 points down. And it was – Milwaukee looked so good compared to Portland. And I know it wasn't that way, that Portland is just bad right now because they don't have any players. They just didn't have anybody that could compete. And, it doesn't hurt that Giannis comes out and hits his first, 3-3-pointers in the first quarter. And they just looked – it was 137-108 was the final score. It was a 29-point loss. Blazers were down by 34 in the second half at one point and just never could do anything. There's not even close. And so this is Milwaukee, who's battling with, 5 other teams in the East just to be in the playoffs, just to be number one. But the Blazers look so bad against them. It was just there was a stretch. There was a moment in the third quarter, and I went to the game with Kurt Lloyd, and we're watching the game. There's a moment in the third quarter where the ball was on the floor, and it was literally kicked around between back and forth 4 times, and it was just a scramble for the basketball. And it gets picked up. It gets picked up by Giannis, who ends up passing and then gets a give and go, and he gets it back, and it's just a dunk, and it was just ridiculous. And at that point, Kurt looks over at me with this look on his face, like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "This is kind of who the Portland Trailblazers have become. They can't hang on to the football. They can't hang on to the basketball. They can't pass it. They can't shoot it. There's nothing to do with it. And every scramble is going to end up like this." Yeah, it just felt bad to watch. And we sat and watched the whole game, even though probably 3/4 of the stadium had emptied out by the fourth quarter. So, Moda Center was quiet with about 6 minutes left. Oh, my gosh. Anyway.
Yeah, that's not so surprising. They're terrible. And I think going into that game, everyone knew they were going to be terrible.
And I think that trade was the signal, was the symbol, was the initiation into, hey, we're going to try and get rid of everyone and build back around Dame. My question to you is, does Dame want that? Because how long is it going to take to get good again?
Dame's been awfully silent. Who knows what Dame wants?
Right.
I think that Dame needs to be a little more vocal so people understand what's going through his head, because right now it feels like they're making terrible decisions that aren't going to make him happy. But maybe they are. Maybe this is exactly what he wanted. I can't see why it would be. This team just got worse.
Right.
I can't see how on earth he could possibly go, yeah, CJ for Josh Hart, that's what I want. Yeah. I want to go from a historical back or front court duo to this. This
Yeah.
sounds better. So I don't know. He just needs to be a little more vocal. Not that he's ever going to. Dame is the most quiet person on earth, but that might also work to his detriment sometimes.
Yeah. And again, you're right. I don't know. He hasn't said, so I don't know what the team is trying to do around him. And if they're just trying to get into the luxury tax, which they did, they're $17 million under the cap, right, for the luxury tax.
Yeah.
And so that's great. But you got nothing left now, and I'd be willing to pay the fines and fees to be over the salary cap or the luxury tax if you're going to win. But they're not with this team. There's
they're
no
not
way,
going to win.
Not a chance.
It's so obvious that they are giving up this season. That's so frustrating.
My problem is this: I guess they're only 5.5 games behind Houston. They're going to need to tank something awful with what 38 games left. They're going to need to tank something awful to get down to a point where they got enough ping pong balls in the damn lottery to get anything good. So I feel like, they're only a game out of 12th. San Antonio could pass them pretty quick, I guess. But Houston.
I love that one of the biggest professional sports on earth resorts on ping pong balls.
It is ping pong balls. And the two worst teams in the NBA right now, Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, right?
Sounds right.
And currently, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying, just saying.
I'm not saying. I'm just, you know what I mean. Hang on, let me find it for you, because I want to tell you the score. Which of course isn't up. Why would it be? So Orlando 79, Portland 69, 4:06 to go in the third. Portland has no chance against a team that has 12 wins this year. They literally have tanked enough that it's so bad. I don't know. I just don't know.
If you believe the NFL circle of events right now, then you believe that this is intentional. Coaches are calling bad plays.
I believe it.
They know it won't work.
I don't know about that in the NBA. I don't know that that's true. I believe that by personnel, you do this in the NBA. In the NFL, you can do it with play calls, because I think at any point in time, those players are still NFL players and they can still do what you want them to do. I think you have to add that added, hey, I can also screw this up by calling the wrong defense or the wrong offense. In addition,
right.
I think in the
NBA,
NBA,
to run it up the gut right here when I know that's probably the best idea.
It's really hard to tell an NBA player, hey, tank. You know what I mean? He's
just
still got
shots.
It's individual effort in the NBA. There's a lot more individual effort than there is in the NBA.
Well, that's where you sit on your star and you ask them if they're a team player. And if they are a team player, you say, okay, and you just start missing some shots, bud.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I would say trade me.
I'm sure. I know you couldn't, but that's why you ask if they're a team player. If they say no, then you say, all right, cool, we'll bounce you out of here and we'll get worse that way.
Yeah. And by the way, Milwaukee is crushing the Lakers, 89-62 with 8:50 to go in the third. Milwaukee, the Lakers are bad. Go ahead.
I just got sent a message a few minutes ago that says, LeBron slams on Giannis. Lakers star really just did this over the Greek Freak. That is the only update I've received about that game.
And they're losing by 27.
I go, huh? And I go, look at the score. And I go, they're losing.
They're losing by 20.
Why am I getting LeBron updates when he's losing?
They're losing by 27.
The hype machine's strong at work.
Antetokounmpo has 25, and Chris Middleton has 21 in this game.
Really good.
And let's be honest, Antetokounmpo is 9 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 2 from 3-point range, 7 rebounds. He hasn't missed a shot.
Well, I was gonna say all he does is shoot close, and then you say he's 2 of 2 from 3. I'm like, well, that's actually that's not bad.
He's been hitting them because against Portland he hit 4 of 5.
Damn.
Yeah, and this one I don't understand. All of a sudden he can do it. Bobby Portis also scored like 20 points against Portland. He was on fire. Bobby Portis. I mean,
that's a funny thing because I feel like people, when you look at a star player, you think there's something they can't do.
Yeah.
There's always something they can't do. What can't Dame do? Play defense. What couldn't Giannis do? Shoot the 3. Oh crap, he can now?
Yeah.
That's not great.
It's getting bad. You are in a bad way if you're playing him now.
Steph Curry can't guard a big, right?
Right.
But Giannis can, and Giannis can guard a small.
Yeah.
So it's getting tough there.
And what's wrong with Russell Westbrook? Can I ask that? Because we're talking about the Lakers. What's wrong with Russell Westbrook? I thought, and I was led to believe that this guy was one of those players, right? Top 10 players in the NBA now, maybe one of the best of all time, and he
Right.
goes to the Lakers and he can't shoot. He
I
cannot
think.
shoot.
Well, so I was I was reading this article yesterday on Bleacher Report that was talking about how the Lakers are one of the worst situational teams in the league. They put players, including LeBron, in terrible spots. Why is that? Because they have a garbage coaching staff and it's run by LeBron.
No, that's
They have
true.
a player on the floor who's running the team while the game is going on.
Good point.
So Russell Westbrook has taken more shots under contest late in the shot clock this year than he has in his entire career.
And he was benched in OT.
He was benched in overtime of a game because they thought they had a better chance than someone else and still lost.
Right. against the Knicks. And I'm like, if
People
that's
get in their head about Russell Westbrook and think that he's one dimensional, or he can only do this, or he can only do that, or he's only good for these few things, or that he's not, a great player and things like that. And then he goes to a team like this. And being fair, that was his choice.
Yeah,
You should have known better, dude. You didn't have to go here. There was a lot of teams that would have taken the Blazers would have taken you in free agency if you wanted to come.
probably
But you chose not to. He goes here and he has to spread the ball and go under the guidance of LeBron. And what we're finding out is LeBron's not an easy player to play for.
Let me ask you a question. Would a Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard backcourt work?
No.
Okay. Why?
Not because Russell Westbrook is a big-headed or whatever people want to say, just because I don't think that scheme is right with those two running 1 and 2. I think if Russell Westbrook could run a 3 or a 4, I think that scheme could work. I think you could have the two of them on the same team and have it be very successful. I just don't think it's with Dame and Russ in the front court.
Well, yeah, Westbrook is 6'3". He's not like the guy that can guard a small forward.
But it's the way he plays. He plays a big game.
He's a great rebounder, and I don't know why that's not a.
He's a great rebounder. He's strong. He can body up most 3s and 4s and things like that. He's got a lot of perks. It just, I don't think he would suit well to play alongside Dame in that role unless he switched to like a 3.
So let's talk about real quick, because we've really
we're burning time.
We've elaborated on the NBA quite a bit. The NBA trade deadline is Thursday at 3 p.m. and it says 3 p.m. I assume that's Eastern.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Okay, so noon.
That's where the league office is.
Right. Well, correct. So the Pacers and the Kings had a big trade recently, and so that's Domantas Sabonis, which is Arvydas Sabonis's kid. For his boy. That's my boy. How do
you say that's my boy in like Russian?
I don't know. We need to figure that out. So they traded two-time All-Star center Domantas Sabonis to the Kings for a package that includes Tyrese Halliburton. It also includes Buddy Hield and Tristan Thompson. The Pacers sent Jeremy Lamb and Justin Holiday, so it was a 3-for-3 trade. Oh wait, there's a 2023 second-round pick in there, so it's technically a 4-for-3, but whatever. I feel like Indiana's coming on the short end of that. I feel like Sabonis is a great player. And I'm not sure Halliburton is that caliber of player. What do you feel about
people are getting behind on him? Halliburton's really young, and people think that he's got a lot of upside. And I don't think it matters that way. I think that these teams are all trading around pieces when the teams aren't complete. You're not getting your one piece that you need to finish off the team. You're giving up a piece that you needed and getting a piece that you needed, so you're still in need of a piece.
So here's
that's the issue with all of these teams right now. No one is completing their team.
So here's my question, I guess, because the Pacers are 19-37. They're not anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
Well, which is crazy because they were a projected top 7 team in the East.
Right. So are all of these moves meaningless, or are they cap moves, or are they just, because most of them at this point, when you're in that situation, it's a cap move. It has nothing to do with trying to get better, because there's no way you're going to get better enough to get in there. So most of these things they traded Karis LeVert earlier this week.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just getting rid of people. And so, I don't know. It's just kind of dumb. Buddy Hield is a good addition. I think he's a great shooter.
He's a great shooter, but he's going downhill. He's shot 3-something from the field, 3.3 something from the field this last year, and this year so far, and it's not going great.
But let's just be so just for on the other side. Since entering the NBA in 2016-17, Hield has connected on 1,337 three-pointers. Only Curry and James Harden have made more since then. So
Yeah, but he plays on a terrible team. All
I
he does is
agree.
heave up threes.
I agree.
And that's not even their scheme.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. There's going to be more tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a
Yeah,
big
there's some
trade
good
deal, and we'll talk about it next week. But the trade deadline is coming, so who knows? But anyway, let's move on from the NBA.
Right on.
Let's talk about the Olympics.
Okay.
Because so here's the here's the thing. They're going on in Beijing right now. The U.S. not doing very well in general. Michaela Schifrin, who was basically the United States was counting on to win at least or 2 medals. She ran off course in the giant slalom, right? And then today she missed a gate in the slalom. She's out of both events, right? So that's two medals the United States was probably counting on. Out. Women's luger Emily Sweeney. She was back in the Olympics after breaking her neck in 2018 in Pyeongchang. She literally broke a vertebrae in her neck on a
Pretty
crash.
impressive.
Yeah, and she was back in the Olympics. What happens? Her second run in Beijing ended in a crash, cost her any chance at a medal. So there's been a lot of that going on. I think if you've got a highlight for the United States, and the women's team, by the way, women's hockey team, which also in there for a medal, they just lost to Canada, because those two teams have won all Olympic gold medals since women's hockey started. But they just lost to Canada, so there's probably going to be a rematch later. But anyway, whatever.
Woo, rematch.
Right? And so if you have a bright spot, it's Nathan Chen. Men's figure skater Nathan Chen, he had a record 113.97 points in the men's short program. So he's setting himself up for a gold medal. Looked good. But here's my question to you. Are you interested in any way?
No.
What would it take to make you interested?
I don't know what it is. The Winter Olympics are, in my opinion, the more exciting of the two Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, for whatever reason, over time, it's become less and less. Well, one, the fact that the Olympics aren't accessible like in a good time frame,
Right?
Like they happen at different times than that's part of it. So you're
Yeah.
dealing with the disconnect there.
It's in Asia.
And then on top of that, it's just not like you can turn on. It's background television. The Olympics are background television right now.
Yeah.
Maybe for like some big time athletes, they really like that kind of stuff. Maybe if you've played hockey all your life, you might get into this. Maybe if you were a speed skater, you'll get into this. But for the most part, if you've never done any of these sports, what is it, cross country skiing?
Yeah.
Like who cares? And I don't mean that to mean like that they're bad at their sports, because I could never do it and fully admit that right off the bat. But who is tuning into this other than other cross-country skiers? I mean, I guess in other countries it's a much bigger deal. Like in Norway, they worship their cross-country skiers. I know that's a really big deal there, but I don't know. I just feel like it's taken such a backseat the last like 2 Winter Olympics. It just hasn't been that great. And maybe there's just not enough drama. I don't know.
I don't know. That's good. That's a great question. I will tell you a couple of things. Number one is the addition of the snowboarding, the X Games stuff. Let's call it that. I don't know what you're going to call it because I'm old school. I like watching.
It's called action sports.
Okay, whatever. I like watching. And what just happened here? Did I lose everything off my thing? I like watching the men's downhill, the women's downhill. I like watching bobsled. Those are fun things. Speed skating on the short track is really it was a good addition. It used to be everything was outside and it was long track. It was the big, you know what I mean? Watching someone skate for 3,000 meters, 27 laps around this track, that's ridiculous. But
it's a little boring.
But the short track speed skating was fun to watch, right? Luge, skeleton, those are fun. I like watching those. Yeah, those are great because it doesn't take more than a minute. You're invested in it. You know what I mean when it comes out. I like watching the Winter Olympics a lot better than the Summer Olympics. I don't know why.
I
just
like the sprints from the Summer Olympics better than anything from
the
the Winter
sprints.
Olympics.
Yeah,
But
100,
other
200
than that,
meters. Yeah,
but other than that, I could care less about the Summer
no
Olympics.
longer than 400 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's longer than that, I don't care. And that's this whole short attention span thing that that the world has going on. And
Yet here we are, both able to sit and watch a Formula One race for 40-something laps.
You know, it's different.
It is different. They're louder.
Right, louder. Yeah. I don't know. It just was. It's interesting to me. I love Winter Olympics a lot more. I don't like a lot of the sports anymore in the Winter Olympics. I actually can watch biathlon, shooting and skiing. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? I've become good at watching that. It's okay because I understand it now. I used to not be able to, but I don't know. Summer Olympics has a lot of different events that I don't care, about. I just really don't. So I don't want to watch a women's marathon.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's 26 miles. It's going to take forever. 2 hours for sure. I don't care. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I'll tune in at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah, show me the last mile. That's all I care about. Everything else is garbage.
Which again, this isn't to put down what these athletes are capable of. It just means that from a spectator standpoint,
I have every respect, every bit of respect for anybody who can run 26 miles. I absolutely do. I don't care if you're an Olympian or not. If you can run that far, you know what? It's kudos.
26.2 miles.
I can't do it. There's no way. And so that to me is like, yeah, that's awesome. But I don't want to watch you run for 26 miles. I don't. I don't. That's a long time. It is going to take 2 hours, and I don't have that kind of attention span anymore. So anyway,
any sport where you can like turn off the TV, go do a bunch of stuff, maybe watch a movie, turn it back on, and it's still going on.
I was thinking vacuum. Right? I could turn it off and I can go vacuum the living room, upstairs, whatever, and then come back and it's still the same as it was when I left. Nah, sure. I don't really. Whatever.
Yeah, it's lost a little luster.
So let's talk about the men's Olympic national team. That's not right. The men's national team in soccer.
Yep.
Just beat Honduras 3-0. USA is still tied for second with Mexico in World Cup qualifying. They play at Mexico on March 24th. That's the next game.
Big time.
It's a huge game in qualifying. If they win that, they're probably in.
March 24th.
March 24th. Yeah.
For Christ's sake, can we get the World Cup every 2 years? Why? What is going on?
You know what I don't like, and I don't care how often it is. Can you put them all together? Can you put all the qualifying like in 3 months? Because it takes like a year and a half to qualify. And I don't like that because we played this week. We aren't going to play for another 6 weeks. What? And part of that is because
do it every 2 years and keep it rolling.
Well, part of that is because these players are part of other teams. They play for other teams. They aren't just playing for the U.S. men's national team. So they got to complete their stuff too. I get it. It's just weird. And yeah, I wish it was more condensed. Does that make sense?
Expedite it. I don't have that kind of time.
I agree. So the result against Mexico is going to go a long way to determining the World Cup qualifying fate for the United States. Hopefully they'll win. They just need to win a game, to be honest with you, and then tie the rest of them or get 2 wins. If they get 2 wins, they're in. It's done. Problem is they play at Mexico, Panama at home, and at Costa Rica. All 3 of those teams are still in contention for a World Cup booth. So it's not easy. Mexico has probably the easiest route. They play the United States, then they play 2 teams that have already been eliminated.
Right.
So
it sounds like conspiracy to me.
If they beat the United States, they'll probably be in right off the bat. So anyway, there's that.
But being fair, they lost to the U.S. last time.
It's true. Let's talk about Kyler Murray.
Let's talk about
him. Why do you think he deleted all of his Arizona Cardinal related pictures from Instagram and unfollowed them on social media?
There's this historical thing that people do to each other when they're upset. It's called the cold shoulder. It's where you act like the other person isn't around. You act like they're not part of your life, or you don't talk to them, or you ignore them, or if they say things to you, you don't listen, or if they call you, you don't call back. All that stuff. That's what he's doing. He's giving Arizona the cold shoulder because he's upset. Upset about what? I think he's not getting. I think it's because he hasn't gotten a contract extension yet. And I think the reason he hasn't gotten a contract extension yet is because he hasn't performed well in the back half of either of the 2 seasons he's been leading this team.
Bang. And that's my question. If you're not leading your team to anything, I mean, other than a playoff spot, which they're clearly better than they were without him.
Absolutely.
Okay. He's just not that next level. He's not good enough.
And I don't know if it's a coaching thing down the stretch that's
When it
causing
might have been
issues.
because they were bad
They're
down the
still
stretch.
they're still scoring some points. Like he's not necessarily not doing his job
That's
at all times.
So
but dang,
that's something they've talked about. Is it what's his name?
Is it head coach?
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't know their coach's name.
I do, and he's the pretty boy from Texas.
I just can't picture anybody but Bruce Arians. Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. He is not good down the stretch. 2 years, the last 2 years, they've been bad, just bad down the stretch, and he's not a good finisher. So if they could win some of those games down the stretch, so you can't put it all on the head coach. Some of it's on the team. You know what I mean? But if the coach is not great at that and the quarterback is not great at that, you're going to lose a lot of games down the stretch, and those are important games that you should be winning to get home field advantage, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, they literally were the best team in the NFL after like 12 weeks or 13 weeks.
Couldn't be beat.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're a 5th seed making a wild card game, and they're playing at L.A.
And you can say what you want about their division, but if you're that good, you're going to be that good regardless of the teams around you. And they played in that same division for the first half of the season too.
Right.
So
you were there, and then all of a sudden you weren't there. And so down the stretch, that was bad. Anyway, long story short, Kyler Murray deleted all of his Instagram posts that contained the Arizona Cardinals. He unfollowed them on social media. Not that means anything, and maybe it's a money ploy to get a new contract. Maybe it's not. I don't know. If you got rid of him, I'm not saying they would, because I wouldn't if I was Arizona, because he's the reason why you're where you are. If you got rid of him, I mean, let's think about this. Tampa Bay has an opening. Okay.
But if you're Tampa Bay, do you want him?
I don't know.
Do you want to go from Tom Brady to him? That's a dramatic shift to your entire offense.
But where are you going to go from Tom Brady?
I don't know. That sounds like a problem that Tom Brady should have kept in mind.
He doesn't. There's nowhere to go from Tom Brady. I mean, it's down no matter what you do, no matter who you pick up. Aaron Rodgers.
Unless you manage to get Aaron Rodgers, he's about the only person who's going to step in and be any kind of lateral movement.
Right. I just don't feel like they're in a position to get anything. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Green Bay next year.
Yeah, but see, if you know this, if you know that you can't get a Tom Brady, you know that Tom Brady's not out there to get, and there's nobody that good. Done. Get that out of your head that you're going to replace Tom Brady. Now let's move on to putting together, just like every other person on earth, putting together the best team that you can. So go out and try and get someone that works with your scheme. Go out and try and get someone who maybe you can tweak your scheme a little bit, but not too much. Deshaun Watson would be a great example.
But here's the question. Would Kyler Murray expand their offense? Because they've got receivers. They've got a tight end. If Gronk decides to come back. I'm just saying.
The problem is they don't have an agile line. Their line is predicated around pass protection and run blocking.
And you're right.
They're not based around scrambling quarterbacks. He's going to get sacked more.
Will he, though? Because he's able to escape more. Tom Brady can't escape anything.
Didn't help him this year.
Well, it's true. But Tom Brady can't escape. He is literally, if a guy breaks through, he's going to fall to the ground. He's done. But Kyler Murray could escape that. Just saying.
I see what you're saying. I'm not there on it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I was just throwing it out there. I mean, he could go anywhere. But, I mean, what if Aaron Rodgers goes to Tampa Bay, Kyler Murray goes to Green Bay? I don't know.
It could work. It just depends on how much these teams are wanting to change their structure.
What about
Kyler Murray's the issue here? Kyler Murray could go to Denver. Kyler Murray could go to the Panthers. What they're working on. Kyler Murray could go to a bunch of teams that might want. He'd probably slide right into the Raiders and be great.
Yeah,
they all have quarterbacks and their schemes are all built around a little bit of mobility.
If
those other two teams are not.
If Houston's gonna get rid of Deshaun Watson, then Kyler Murray could be Houston's quarterback.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All right, one last thing to talk about because we don't know
All right.
we don't know what the Kyler Murray thing means anything. It might not mean anything. It might mean nothing. He just may be posturing, right?
Right.
All right.
I think he's just throwing a temper tantrum. That's really all it is.
Let's talk about the Pro Bowl. Justin Herbert, offensive MVP of the Pro Bowl, led the led the AFC to 2 touchdowns. They threw to Mark Andrews, Baltimore. He likes his tight ends. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just saying. No tackling in the Pro Bowl. No kickoffs in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
And basically no field goals because why? Go for it on 4th down. There was no field goal attempts.
Kind of with that, yeah.
Right. Does anyone care about the Pro Bowl?
No.
Okay. So that being said, does anyone care about any All-Star game?
Yes.
Do you?
Do I care about
Do you
any
care
All-Star
about
game?
any All-Star game? Is it
Yeah.
worth watching?
So the hockey All-Star game is more exciting. The NHL All-Star game is more exciting than the MLB
Why?
or the NBA, just because they try a little harder. They
Okay.
still don't try hard enough. But even then, when you put together the whole weekend, and I think about the whole package of your skills competitions and things like that, it always seems like the NHL skills competitions are a little more exciting to watch too.
Right.
Than because it's on ice. It's faster.
It is. They have an added degree of difficulty with that ice thing.
And they're firing projectiles, not footballs, and they're not throwing the football 60 yards downfield to a big, 2 meter by 2 meter hole. They're firing them at little tiny, 6-inch discs on the corner of a goal from center ice.
Right.
Like, that's kind of cool. Like, there's a little more skill in that, and you're not able to put your hands on it and throw it. You have to use a tool to fling it that way.
It's pretty impressive what they do.
So the hockey one is I just find the hockey stuff to be a lot more impressive. I find that they try a little harder in their game, and that's mostly because it's probably the most macho sport left, in that I feel like the guys that are playing it really don't ever want to take a day off.
Do you think outside of that anyone cares about All-Star games?
I think that there are a lot of people that care about All-Star games, and those people can go to All-Star games.
So that's the question. Who can afford to go to an All-Star game? Because I can't.
Well, they're actually not they're not too terribly expensive. If you could have gotten out to Hawaii a couple years ago for the All-Star game,
to Hawaii.
To the game, you have to get to Hawaii. So that's part of it. Go on your yearly vacation or bi-yearly vacation. But you can go to the All-Star game for $20.
Sure.
So this year's All-Star game in Vegas costs a little more, but it was only like $55 for a ticket.
Right.
You can go to. It's not inaccessible to go to the All-Star game, the NFL All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game. You can't go to. You don't have enough money.
No.
Sit in the nosebleeds at an NBA All-Star game is about $500.
And MLB is the same way.
MLB is the same way. They fill up that stadium and you can't go to it. But that's because the MLB but that's because the perception is that the NFL All-Star game is the least meaningful. Because for the past like 10 years, they just do not care.
They don't.
Try.
Well, they're not trying to get hurt. And
I
it's
completely
football.
Get that,
Yeah, I get it.
Your season's over too.
I'm not angry.
Flag.
Yeah, I'm not angry about you not trying because you don't want to get hurt. I get that, but it's a football game and it's supposed to be tackle. It's supposed to be
right.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna make it 2-hand touch, then make it flag football. Don't.
But being fair, that wasn't like they ripped anybody off.
No.
Right? If you're at home, you don't have to watch it. And if you went to the game and you didn't know it was 2-hand touch, you didn't do your research.
You're right. They
were very clear about that a long time in advance. I would have been pissed if I showed up and they're like, actually, we're going to make it 2-hand touch.
But let's not call it a football game then. It's not a football game. It's not an NFL football game anymore if it's 2-hand touch.
It's not an NFL football game. It's the Pro Bowl football game.
It's a Pro Bowl. Right. Yeah. So I would rather you scrap it and just go with an expanded skills competition.
I've said I like that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Make more skills competition things. I want to see the top 10 players in the league who aren't in the Super Bowl race. I want to see a 100-meter race.
But the problem is they won't because they don't want to get hurt. I get it, but I don't get it because the NFL needs to do something to make this marketable or get rid of it.
Well, it's simple as money. The NFL needs to say, all right, so we have a 100-meter race between these 5 guys. Incentives, and so not just money to the players, but money towards donations that is hard to refuse. The winner gets $1 million to their charitable fund. Now, Cheetah, are you going to refuse?
No. Yeah, no.
The ability to earn $1 million because you don't want to get hurt? You run all the time.
or offer an incentive to the team.
Offer an incentive to the team.
Hey,
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, we want Tyreek Hill to run
Right.
as fast as he can. Chiefs, we'll give you $1 million if you get him to run fast and compete. Whatever.
I saw a good one the other day, which is that they should have the two worst teams should play for the number one pick.
I saw that.
I like that.
I like it. I like the idea. I'm not sure they'll ever do that, but I mean, I like the idea of the two teams who've tanked all season trying to win a game.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
yeah,
I
got to win.
all these pieces, and now you got to win.
We got to win today. Otherwise, we're number 2.
Otherwise, we're number 2. We don't get to go get our. Well, and see, that brings into some dynamics. Maybe you were tanking to get a quarterback,
right?
And now the quarterback that you have has to win you a game,
right?
To get you that quarterback.
Exactly. The quarterback you have has to win you the next quarterback. I like it.
That's
great.
some dynamics I'd be interested in.
I think so. I think I would be on board. I don't know. I don't think All-Star games are great. I don't like them. The Major League Baseball All-Star game is one of those examples. I don't like it. There's no reason for teams. Oh, well, we're gonna make it. It's meaningful now because the winner gets the home field for the World Series. Whatever. I don't think teams are playing for that. I don't think those guys care about that. I think you got to make it monetary for players, or you have to make it mean something more than that.
Right.
And I don't know what it is, but I mean, maybe it's playoff, or maybe it's draft picks, or maybe it's, I don't know, but something. You got to make it something, because it's just not. It's just not.
So that's what they did for the NBA, and those All-Star games have been better. Ever since they made winning quarters was winning for charitable causes.
Right.
It got better. They started playing. A couple years ago, I watched them play defense.
I don't like the NBA and its draft thing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, these are the captains, and we're going to draft them.
Oh,
I don't like that.
I don't mind that at all, because
I
think that why do you hate it? Because they pick their friends?
East-West. NBA All-Star game is Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Let's play. Because that's how it's always been, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
It's not. It has nothing to do with these guys picking their friends to play. I don't care about your friends. Go do that in your home court. Go play on your own court that way. This is the NBA, the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference. NHL, Eastern Conference, Western. It should always be that way. AFC, NFC. It shouldn't be picking your friends.
I'm cool with trying some different things, because I do not believe in tradition for tradition's sake.
It's not show friends, it's show business.
This is show business, and that's horseshit. The All-Star games are show business, and you know that.
I know that, but I don't want to.
LeBron.
I don't want to see
Chris
LeBron
Paul
picking his best
Dwayne
friends
Wade on the same team is more attractive.
No,
to
he already did that. He already did that in Miami. He already did that. He picked his own friends, and he went to Miami.
Paul on that team?
I don't care.
There's my point. LeBron, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony on one team is attractive to the fans. And this game does not matter for the season. It does not matter for the careers. It does not matter for the stats for the season. It's not part of the MVP race. It does not matter. All that matters is how many people can we get to watch it.
It
is show business.
Is it fun for the fans? That's the question. All that other stuff you said, are fans buying into that draft pick thing?
Absolutely. The drafting of the teams. What are you saying? Draft pick is thrown.
I don't like it.
Yes. So the problem is that it's not for you. It's not even for me. It's not designed for you and me. It's designed for the 13-year-old kid who doesn't have real allegiances to teams. He likes a couple players. Different people they're trying to lure in different people. Just like when you and I watch it, we go, where's the defense? But some little kid's absolutely stoked to watch Steph Curry do this first dunk of the season.
I've watched so many NBA All-Star games, even when it was East-West, even when before this thing happened, and watched them not play defense. They don't care. The game is irrelevant, and so it's all about, let's see how many times we can throw it off the backboard and have a guy dunk it.
Yeah, and it's designed to appeal to not the fans of the sport necessarily of basketball. It's designed to appeal to the fans of the players and watching them do something cool and getting a quick little YouTube clip or getting a quick little push to your phone that says, "Oh, watch this wild dunk." That just happened. Just the way I just talked about that. I got an update that LeBron made a dunk tonight.
I want to see
in a game that he's losing by 20 points.
I want to see the game mean something. The winner of the game means something.
So far, the NBA is the most on the way to it.
Okay. All right.
Because they've actually had some defense the last couple of years. They're actually playing for stuff. I've actually watched.
Right.
I watched James Harden steal the ball from LeBron a couple years ago.
Right.
It was 2 years ago. He stole the ball from LeBron in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, that's a travesty. When has anybody ever done that?
No.
Well, I watched it happen, and then I watched LeBron get a chase down block on Kevin Durant.
All right.
In the same All-Star game. So they're doing the most to try
Okay.
and make it steer
Okay.
that way, but it's still not great.
It's still not great.
The
And
important thing to remember is that it isn't for us.
I like the
It is a
NHL.
kids event almost.
I like the skills competitions in every sport. I think that should be
I think we
a
like
given.
all. Yeah.
I don't like the slam dunk competition. It's all subjective. There's no objectivity
mind
to it. It's not. I'm not saying I mind it. What I'm saying is, it used to be who could pull off the best dunk. Now it is which of your friends is on the judging committee, and it's going to give you 100.
A little bit.
Stupid.
Again, this is how you know it's about show business and not about the sport.
Right. It loses something to me. The 3-point competition has a clear objective final. You know what I mean? It has an objective winner. It isn't subjective. It's the same reason why I don't watch men's figure skating. Because I don't want the East German judge to give me a 3 instead of a 6 when it should have been. You know what I mean? The NBA All-Star Game slam dunk competition is the same way. I don't want to see this judge give me a 10 and this judge give me a 3 because that's stupid. But the 3-point shooting competition has a clear-cut winner.
I get it.
The guy with the most points. That.
The skills competition has a defined winner with the dribble and the course and the timing behind it.
Love it.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there should be more of those.
Be any subjectivity to it.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the people who are in the All-Star game is based on subjectivity.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you, but I just don't like it. So I don't have to like it. So
you don't have to like it, but there's a difference between not liking it and disliking it. You know what I mean? Like, rephrase that. You don't have to dislike it. You can not care. That simple as just not tuning in. It's going to happen with or without you.
Let's talk about crazy moments in sports because we do that. We're doing that thing. This is a crazy. It's not as crazy as you'd like, but it's a crazy moment in sports in the NFL. And I want to preface this by saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has just been asked how they've been able to come out to a flying start this season. I don't remember what season it is, but you're going to love this. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
I think we just developed a lot of confidence in the offseason and through training camp with how we worked and the way things were going and the rapport with the guys. I think that confidence has carried over into the season.
I got your friends there.
Hey, DJ. I got like 2 more because DJ needs his stuff back.
Ryan.
Sorry. Wait a minute, I borrowed your stuff. Sorry. Yeah, I borrowed your stuff. Sorry, Deshaun.
Wait, what is yours? Is any of that yours or is
The
that
chest hair is mine.
So there you go. That was your crazy moment in sports, by the way.
I like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick admitting that the rest of the clothing was Deshaun Jackson's, but the chest hair was his.
He's a good guy. I think he should be on an NFL team.
That is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. So that was the crazy moment in sports. Parker, it's your minute, right? So
it's my minute.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to talk about how athletes ain't shit. So fans get this little thing in their head. They get this little riled up that athletes deserve things. I've heard it a lot lately. People talking about, oh, Damian Lillard deserves to be on a better team. Damian Lillard deserves better than this, and blah, 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 blah. No, we deserve better. We deserve to see Dame playing with a top team. Dame doesn't deserve shit. He gets paid so much money to play a game that they teach kids in elementary school for free. It is not realistic what he's doing, but he's managing to do it and managing to make a ton of money. He doesn't deserve anything. Do we deserve it? Yes. We deserve to see the best that he can be. We deserve to see the absolute max that we can get out of him and the players he plays with. Absolutely. But he does not deserve it. You know, Bradley Beal doesn't deserve it. Russell Westbrook doesn't deserve it. LeBron does not deserve it. No one deserves it. Tom Brady did not deserve anything. They work hard. They get their chances. If they do well, they'll get paid, and those chances will keep coming around. That's just how it works. They have a method to their system. All we can hope for is that we get the best out of them. All right, we deserve it. People need to get off the they deserve it and get onto the we deserve it. It's already transfers of power from the ownership to players in all sports nowadays. Let's not transfer it from the fans to the players as well.
I like it.
A couple expletives in there.
I mean, that's why we're 18 plus.
18 plus, that's right.
You got to be 18 or over to listen to us. I like it. I mean, I agree. I I don't even know what else to say. Players are treated by the fans as players, as employees, as this is my favorite guy. But in the
Yeah.
NBA, they're commodities. The team, the NBA, sees them as a commodity. How much money can you make for me? So you're right. So when those people think that, hey, he deserves something, he's owed something. Well, no, he's a commodity. He's nothing more than gold. If you were to go buy gold, right? How much money can gold make me? That's why you're buying gold, right? Same reason why you'd buy any NBA player. How much money can they make me? It's not about how the fans will react to him, other than, hey, if I acquire today, if I'm a Portland Trailblazer and I acquire today James Harden, how many Portland Trailblazer James Harden jerseys can I sell? That's what it's about. It's not about anything else other than making money. So the people don't see that. Fans don't see that. The NBA is about that. It's literally every player is a commodity. So I don't know. I agree with you. So
Yeah.
Fair
enough.
It's tough. It's a tough situation because fans don't get. They're connected emotionally to the player, and it shouldn't be about emotions. It should not. It should never be about the emotion, because they're literally, until when your player, who's the best player in the history of this franchise, is no longer valuable to the franchise, they're getting traded or getting released. One of the two. So.
But even then, it's I don't mind you being emotionally connected to a player,
right?
As long as you understand that the reason you're emotionally connected to the player is because of what he gives you, the entertainment he gives you, not because of what he's getting.
Right. It's a business. It's not.
Yeah. That's their crap to worry about. What you need to be worrying about, because you don't work in this business, you're not directly affected by the money that's being changed hands over there. What you need to be worried about is, am I getting the best product on the TV? And if I'm not, then I'm upset about that, not upset about Dame getting shafted.
Right.
Or Dame's, he deserves a better team, or he deserves a better ownership. He doesn't deserve anything. Yeah. We deserve a better team in ownership to put something better on the screen. And if by, osmosis that makes Dame better, great.
Osmosis. It might be by osmosis, by the way. Okay. I like it. I'm there.
Not bad.
So this week's Best Lamb Sports Show trivia question brought to you by Save and Stone Wine Estates. I can never say it right. The winery at the Vineyard, 3827 Fletcher Drive. Go to saveandstone.com and check out the selection of award-winning wines. You know what? The tasting room downtown, 210 Oak Street. I always forget it. Anyway, call 541-946-3750. That's wine. That's 541-WINE-750. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're struggling through it is what's happening.
You know what? Email them at info@saveandstone.com. If I just read it, it'd be fine. Save and Stone wines with personality. They're the sponsor of the Best Lamb Sports Show trivia question. What was the trivia question? Do you remember?
Trivia question is, what cities host the most Super Bowls and what stadiums host the most Super Bowls?
Right.
They're not the same thing.
You got an answer?
Yes.
What is it?
The city's Miami.
The city's Miami.
And the stadium is the Superdome.
You're right. Both. Mm-hmm. Wow, Parker.
That was actually a pretty easy one.
It
was funny because I originally wanted to go with Miami Stadium, but I knew they had moved stadiums at one point.
Correct.
So I couldn't remember if that would be it.
The first,
and I was like, what's the next most? And then I was like, is it going to be Arizona, LA, or is it going to be the Superdome? And then I thought in my head, I've seen 2 Super Bowls in the Superdome.
It's been in Miami 11 times.
Jesus,
really? The first 4 were in the Orange Bowl. And then that got demolished, and it became Joe Robbie Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium. What is it? Yeah, I can't remember all the names. But it became like 7 different things. Hold on. I got it here. So it was Joe Robbie Stadium, Pro Player Park, Dolphins Stadium, Land Shark Stadium, Sun Life Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium. That has hosted the Super Bowl 6 times. Is that right? 6 times. And the first 4 were in the Orange Bowl. So it's been 10 times. That's right. And then 7 times it's been the Superdome, which is now the Caesars Superdome, or it was I don't remember what it was before. Crap. Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Before that, it was just the Superdome. So yeah, the Superdome has hosted it as a venue the most times, 7. And they're due to do it in 2025, by the way. So there's another one. But Miami as a city has hosted it the most times. Yeah, good answer. You got it right.
Yeah, it was
Woo!
so funny because you asked it, and then once you made the statement that they were two separate places,
Right.
that's why I was like, oh, okay.
Right, it's two different places.
It just kind of clicked in my head,
Yeah.
like, well, I know Miami's been there. They've been in Miami a ton,
Right.
but I didn't know it was that much. And then like I said, I've seen three Super Bowls in the Superdome in my lifetime. So I knew they were getting up there. I have more than that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, anyway, we'll keep track of it. I'm sure it'll come. But anyway, that's all we have for today. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, February 15th. Super Bowl review, basically, of what happened, and the Super Bowl halftime and the commercials. We'll talk about all that. NBA, NHL, trivia question, obviously, and more. We're streaming on YouTube every week. We're on Twitter at Lamb Sports. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports. You can email us, lambsports@gmail.com. I want to thank ESPN, NFL, NBA, NHL, U.S. Soccer, NBC, and of course our sponsors, the Ranger Yakima, Boss Kitty Yarns, and Stevenson Wednesdays in Hood River. This has been a Brain Rock production, a division of Lonely Tree Media LLC. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.